Now, the fire may have destroyed the building, but it didn't destroy the business. Owners say they plan to stay open and they won't be too hard to find. In fact, they're going to be right next door. And we're continuing to learn more and more information and the impact of this water main break. As you can see behind me, crews are still working to drain this pit so they can get down and take a look at the water main pipe. But in the meanwhile, while they are doing that, a system-wide boil advisory has been put in place for everybody on the Madisonville Water District. Well, Shaylee, people are trying to cope with this closure any way that they can. And as you can see, there are people turning around on the southbound bridge and driving north, driving the wrong way on this road, all in an attempt to get onto the northbound side of the Twin Bridges. The rick house itself holds upwards of 20,000 barrels, and you can see just the damage that it's caused at this point. Barrels strewn everywhere, siding coming down off of the rick house, and you can see the wooden beams as well, and the smell, the pungent smell of bourbon all throughout the air. Now, the guns lead the overall series 6-5, but the hoses are coming out and they're looking for a fight. And that's what crews say that they saw as soon as they got to the former Gilmore Inn. I'll take a step out and you can actually see this picture right now. The ladder truck fully deployed and they are trying to rain water down on top of this fire. This is now the Simple Rewards Inn here in Henderson, and we have seen this fire sparking back up ever since we got on scene about an hour ago. Crews have been working hard on both sides of the building to fight this blaze, and they say that they've taken up a defensive position. You can take just a look off to my left and see where crews are focusing their efforts right now. You see those flames sparking back up. That's been the hot spot, the trouble spot, since we arrived on scene about an hour and a half ago. We can pan off to the left. I want to show you that they've brought out a bus specifically for the people who were inside this building. We saw a mass of people are outside wandering around, talking to each other. Those are the people that were inside this inn when it caught fire this morning. We were able to speak with a couple who were inside the building when it caught fire this morning. They were on the first floor, and they said when they woke up to a knocking on their window and smoke filling their room. They opened the door and they just ran. Well, Dan, it actually looks like they've made quite a bit of progress in the last probably half hour or so. I'm going to step out of the picture and you can see kind of where we're at this point. As we zoom in over here, you can just see the amount of water kind of pouring off of that deck. That is how much water is being just blasted into this building to try to take care of this fire. Essentially, he gave me an update on where we're at in this process right now. As you look off to my left, you can see that the ladders are still up, but there are no longer firefighters up there spraying water down on the building. That's because they believe that they've got this building about as under control as they can at this point.
It's the collaboration with everybody. And I think any orchestral musician would tell you that that's kind of, it transcends yourself.
5 conductors, 5 performances, all open auditions to find the next conductor to wield this baton.
Went through over 200 resumes that were submitted for the position, and then we viewed over 70 videos that our second round candidates submitted, and so we've done a lot of groundwork leading up to selecting these 5 who are conducting the Philharmonic this year.
Thomas Josenhans chairs the search committee and says that at this point, the musical ability is not what they're looking at.
So for the 5th bar of 10, I'll give that 3, 4, or it comes in on the 2. Let's go right at 10, please. 10.
Someone who's going to be a skilled musician and a qualified conductor, of course. I mean, those are the main skills that they really need to have, but they also need to be able to be a representative of the orchestra. They need to be someone who can embrace the mission of the orchestra and have a vision for what the orchestra's place is in the community. We actually asked that question of all the conducting candidates: what does it mean to be the face of the orchestra? I think it's the person who's most relatable.
Relatable to audience and ensemble, and a week to prove it.
I always kind of liken it to a blind date. You know, you're going to see if you have that spark, that connection with each other. You know, it's a kind of a two-way street in that sense, because you're going to see if you have that connection with the musicians. They're going to see if they have that connection with you.
And continue to ignite a love for music in Evansville. Jim Stratman, 14 News.